Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Kine, and today I think I'd like to go over a topic that, well, not really a topic, but I'd like to explain something that I've been doing and kind of explain to everybody a few things that I get asked whenever I go into public lobbies. So let's get into it. Okay, the first thing that I get asked in some of my lobbies, which I'm not going to say all because, well, let's be honest, I don't get asked this in all of my lobbies. It's just some. And one of the more frequent questions I get asked is, are you a moderator? No, I'm not a moderator. And I'd like to clear up two things. You don't see moderators a whole lot. They look like normal people, you know, just like us. And, you know, they're pretty hard to spot from what I've heard. You know, they just look like normal people, and if they spot a troublemaker misbehaving, then they report them and leave, I'm pretty sure. Now, if you guys have watched TTT Pig's video on explaining new stick justice, I'm pretty sure, he talks about there being two things. One, a moderator, and two, a force guide. And a force guide is, in his words, basically a leader to the community, a moderative leader to the community, and they explain to the community why these people are being bad, and, you know, just being a guide to new players and stuff like that. But the short question is, no, I'm not a moderator. I do not know if I will ever work for the Gorilla Tag moderative community. You know, I'd like to, but you know, I don't really think I've proven myself a whole lot, and I don't really think they like me too much. But you know, people change, people can change, not all people change, but you know, I think if any of you guys want a helping hand, you can interview me. I'd love to meet the administrative community. But yeah, the main thing is do the right thing, and don't do bad things, you know? Make the game fair for other players, be nice, and do the right thing. Alright, the next question I get asked is, are you using long arms? No, I do not use long arms. This is my natural wingspan, okay? I have gotten accusated for having long arms for a bunch, and I just like to clear it up. No, I do not use long arms. First off, my belief is I think long arms is just unfair to other players, which it is. But a lot of people don't think that is true, so I just like to clear it up. I don't use long arms, I don't condone long arms, okay? They're bannable, and it's an unfair advantage to other players. So, should you use long arms? No. The third question I get asked is, why do you report people so much? And the answer is, well, because there's a lot of people doing bad things. I wouldn't have to report as many people if you guys just do the right thing, you know, just follow the Gorilla Code of Conduct. Frankly, just be nice to other people, because there is a lot of new players that I'm seeing, and, you know, they just need a helping hand, you know? If they can't get up a stump, you know, help them up. And, you know, stuff like that. But, mainly, whenever I walk into a lobby, I see racial slurs just being thrown around all willy-nilly.
So funny.
I'm seeing people modding, you know, just bombing servers left and right.
We have bigger problems.
I'm just blocking this one.
What is this?
Like, it's no big deal. There's mute buttons for a reason, okay? If somebody is calling you a racial slur, you know, just mute them. Not a big deal. It's one button, and you can't hear them forever. If somebody is being toxic to you, you know, just mute them. If anybody is saying anything bad about you, or, you know, just being very offensive to you, then just mute them and report them. It's not that hard. But the reason why I report so many people is because it has become a constant thing in Gorilla Tag, where people just decide to be toxic. Overly toxic, honestly. And I have to report a lot of people because there's too many people, and since it's become such a common thing in Gorilla Tag, nobody else is reporting them. I see people throwing the N-word left and right, just awful words, and nobody's reporting them. It's like a casual day. And the less reports there are, is the less something will get looked at. Okay, so with auto bans, it is the last 14 days of gameplay data, and manual reviews is 30 days. So if before you get banned, they will, if it's not an auto ban, they will look at the last 30 days of gameplay data to see what reports you got and why you got them, you know, and how many, I think. And in auto ban, it just does 14. So if you get a bunch of reports within the last 14 days, you're most likely going to get banned. And I'm not preaching this like I'm not preaching this like I'm a moderator. I'm just telling you guys that just be nicer, honestly. Because I'm tired of the toxicity and racism and all that other stuff. And I just like to, you know, enjoy the game. You know, it's getting pretty tired. I'm getting pretty tired with all the bickering and stuff. I don't know, it's not nice. I think I'd like to go over what I do, which, if you guys haven't seen my thoughts on Gorilla Tag, go check it out. It is what I do for the community, and, you know, just, I don't know, my journey, I guess. So what I do is I go through lobbies, and if somebody is misbehaving, which there's a big glitch going on, where put your hands like this, I think I learned how to do it, you jump and then switch them and release, and they fly out of the map. And, well, it's just abysmal. Which, whenever I try and play normally, there's always somebody out of the map, and there's always somebody trying to get out of the map, and it's just every time. And so I go to report them because cheating number 4 states that you should not get out of the map. I don't know the exact code of conduct, but it says just make the game fair and try to make sure everybody's having a good time. So don't get out of the map, and I won't have to report. Mainly all of my reports are cheating because people are getting out of the map. And, you know, some of them are hate speech, you know, there's a lot of racists here. But, you know, one thing I'd like to go over is I don't false report. I make sure I know who I'm reporting, and I'm not sloppy with my fingers. I make sure I press the buttons very accurately. If I do false report somebody, then, I will justify it in my videos. If I record myself false reporting somebody, I will justify it. I will say I did not mean to report this person. And since it's just one report from me, it won't really matter. So, to any force guides out there, or moderators, be careful with your fingers, because you might accidentally ban somebody that you don't want to. I'm just saying be careful. Okay, let's review our questions. Number 1, am I a moderator? No, I would like to become a part of the administrative team, but I don't think I've really proved myself fully, and I honestly think half the administrative community hates me from how I used to behave back 20,000 years ago. But to those people, I'd just like to say I apologize if I acted disorderly or if I was, I don't know, if I just acted abysmal at all in any way. But, no, I'm not a moderator. I would like to become a administrative part someday. 2. Do I use long arms? No, I do not use any world scale cheats. Have your world scale 100, otherwise it's not fair for other players. Short arms, I don't care. That's kind of an advantage, or disadvantage. But, you know, I'd just recommend it. Have it at 100, because it's bannable. And unless you want to keep your Steam account, because they're $20, play fair. And number 3, why do I report people so much? It's because there's a lot of naughty monkeys. If there weren't half as many naughty monkeys, I probably would get my reports down to a third, just off of probability basics. So what I would recommend for you guys is be nice, help other people, and do the right thing. That's all I have to say, and I will see you guys later.